Good evening, Venerable Sila Wimala, all the resident monks of the Vihara and friends. This is an amazing honour, thank you. I do feel a bit embarrassed and overwhelmed by tonight, especially as it is I who would like to say thank you to all the monks and the Vihara and the members of the Vihara. The LBV has given so much to me, and indeed, over the years, has become an integral part of my life and the life of my entire family. Coming to the Vihara is always a joy, and kindness and love that exudes from each of the monks, and the atmosphere in the building is so calm and beautiful. I have loved every minute that I have spent in the Vihara, and can't believe it's already 30 years since I first knocked on the door of Heathfield Gardens. I first came to the Vihara over 30 years ago with a dear friend, Zita, and Deborah, my daughter. Sorry, I'm going to cry. We all wanted to know more about meditation. I can remember knocking on the door and feeling very nervous. I had never met a Buddhist monk. But in fact, I didn't need to be nervous. All the monks were absolutely wonderful, so I recovered from that quite quickly. Of course, I found that there was no need to be nervous. Venerable Chandawimala, Venerable Bandula, and the then head monk, Venerable Vajrayana, were gentle, welcoming, and each of them great teachers. We, all three of us, soon became part of the Vihara. Over the years, we were blessed to have been taught by many great monks, the Venerable Ananda Maitreya, the Venerable Walpola Rahula, the Venerable Gunaratana, and to name just a few. Sadly, Zita, my friend, died a couple of weeks ago, but she was very involved in Buddhism right until the end. Deborah, my daughter, unfortunately can't be here today, but she too is still deeply involved in Buddhism and has taught meditation and Buddhism over the last 20 years. When Deborah's son, my grandson Ivan, was born, he was blessed at the Vihara and given the name Dharma by Venerable Vajrayana. You all probably know that the old Vihara was situated opposite the fire station in Chiswick. Often, when we were sitting in the meditation class in the front room, a fire engine would come out of the station, flashing its lights and tooting its horn, which was probably a good test of our mindfulness and distraction, avoiding distraction. I'm not sure I actually got there, though. After reading Mindfulness in Plain English, I decided to go to the USA to have a week at the Bhavana Society with Venerable Gunaratana. I was so mindful that I didn't think to find out whether he'd be there when I got there. On the second day I was there, I found that he was actually in Australia and he wouldn't be back for a few weeks. So I had a retreat without him. When the ADT purchased this building, what is now the shrine room was a billiard hall, and it had a billiard table in the middle of the room. In there was a bar. Do you remember it? It was all set up, and in here was a dance floor. It was a social club. My husband, Peter, who was an architect, together with the head monk, was deeply involved in turning the building into a Buddhist temple. I think they succeeded quite well. In December 1998, a small group went to Sri Lanka with the Venerable Vajrayana. We went on a pilgrimage to many of the Buddhist temples and sites. It was a wonderful trip. Sadly, just before we came home, one of the group, Mrs. Frances Turner, who Banti has already mentioned, died. Although that was sad, Frances herself had recently lost her husband and would have been very happy to stay in Sri Lanka. She loved Sri Lanka. So we were all sad on the way home. Frances and her husband, Bill, had been coming to the Vihara regularly for some time. And all the resident monks, as I think Bansi said then, called them Mum and Dad, which was nice. Some years later, when Deborah wanted to get married, she asked the Venerable Vajrayana if she could be married in the Vihara. He said that would be fine if we wrote the script. In fact, we then had to go on, and with his agreement, we found how to register the Vihara so that it could legally perform marriages, and worked out with him what a Buddhist wedding would be like. Deborah's marriage was the first one to take place in the Vihara, and the LBV is still the only place in the UK and possibly Europe that does weddings. So we're unique in that respect. We don't have a lot of weddings, but people who do come from all over the country, from Scotland, from Yorkshire, some from London, but seemingly they come from far afield. I could go on, but I think you're all eagerly waiting to see the amazing exhibition in the Dharma Hall, which has been put together so beautifully by members of the Vihara. I would like to close by saying thank you so much to our resident monks, and Bhante, and many other monks that I have met over the years at the Vihara. The LBV has actually become a second home to me. It has given me so much peace, happiness and support through the good times and the bad. Sorry, I'm off again. It is me who would like to say thank you to you, all of you. Thank you.